Nomadic desert cultures would travel across the sands in order to trade different types of goods to obtain gold and also expand their tribes. Now, the problem is that the desert is a very dangerous place where there's different robbers along with other tribes that are trying to obtain the same resources that you are. So whoever has the most resources, has the largest tribe, along with the most amount of abilities in the end, will rule the land. So what game am I talking about? Targi. My name is Annette, and you might know me on social media as Nettersplays. Well, today I'm going to talk to you about Targi. Targi is a two-player abstract worker placement game. Now, I'll go ahead and explain how to play this game, as well as what it's all about, and then at the very end of this video, I'm going to give you my final thoughts of the game. So, let's get to it. Let me show you what's inside the box of Targi. What you'll get, first off, is this rulebook. Now the rulebook is a double-sided trifold with a lot of pictures and a lot of examples to help you play the game. You'll get all these cardboard cutouts which resemble the goods, the gold themselves, and also these victory point tokens to just help you score along with the first player token. You'll get these cards to play throughout the whole game for the board and for resources and such. You also get these individual meeples for each player, either blue or white, or this robber, which is a soft gray tone. And that's pretty much what's inside the box. So let's set the game up. What you'll do is you'll set up these border cards numbered 1, as you can see in that top left corner, all the way through 16. Now what you'll do is you'll also shuffle up these tribe cards, shuffle up the good cards. Also, each player is going to get 3 of these Targi meeples along with 2 of these discs, either in white or blue. You also decide who's going to be first player, and you'll grab this robber marker and you'll place them on the noble. Now let me show you how to set these up in the middle too. Also, for the setup portion, each player is going to take 2 dates, 2 salts, 2 peppers, along with the gold, and 4 victory points. So you're going to set up the center like so, where the good cards are on the corners in the middle, along with the tribe cards in between. What you'll do is then you'll flip them all over and you'll get certain goods and you'll get certain tribes in this first play. You make sure all the resource tokens are all reachable for each player, and then you're all set and ready to play. Let me show you how to play the game, and the first thing you'll do at the beginning of each round is move the robber along the border cards. If the robber ever moves onto a corner card, the robber is going to raid you. The robber will either take some goods or some victory points or even some gold, so just be wary of that. In the first round, you could just ignore that movement. Alright, so the second step in this game is pretty much each player is going to assign one of their Targis to one of the border cards. So if this player places it here, they're going to get this date, this good, along with claiming these different cards along this column. This white player cannot place theirs directly across since this blue player is claiming these cards first. So the white player will have to go somewhere else. Now each player is going to make sure that they're doing this and making sure they're not directly across from one another. So then it's okay to be across from the robber, but it's not okay to be across from another player. Another thing too is that you cannot pick a corner card. You have to be along one of these indicated row or column cards. The third thing we'll do is place these tribe markers onto the intersection points between each Targi. For example, the white player will cross and intersect there, along with right here. So they'll claim these 2 cards. Now, the blue player is intersecting right here, along with right here. So you're placing these different tribe markers inside this area right here based on the intersection points. The third thing the players are going to do based upon whoever's first player is take off their pieces and do the actions. So for example, this Targi player is going to go ahead and collect a date. Along with this Targi here is going to collect a salt resource. This Targi right here is on the caravan car. Basically that says that you get to draw a card from the draw deck of goods. In this case, you can actually pick and choose which one of these goods you want. Another thing too is they're going to take these tribe markers in the center, and every time you take a tribe card, you're going to have to make sure that you pay that designated good. So that player needs to have a pepper and a coin in order to take this card. Either that, or they get to keep it in their hand, or if they can't even keep it in their hand, they're going to get rid of it. So when this player takes this tribe card, making sure they pay what they need, they're going to place a card for the next round, which is the opposite, a goods card. If a goods card gets taken away, well, then the tribe card is going to replace it, and it's going to get ready for the next round, making sure that you place these face down. Whenever a card is removed, you make sure you put the opposite there for the next round. The last turn of this round is done once all players have picked up their markers or their Targis. Once that's done and they've completed all their actions and gathered all their cards, all these face down cards are going to be flipped over. This is all in preparation for the next round. And as you can see, all the tribe cards were taken this round, and for the next round there will be a whole bunch of goods available. You then pass the player token to the next player, and then you are ready to start the next round. So during this round, you're going to be collecting all these resources and trading them in for these different tribe cards. You're going to gain some victory points at the bottom of each individual tribe card. But what do you do with these cards? There's another portion in this game that you're also going to be assembling these tribe cards in certain orders. So let me show you that portion. I already mentioned that the robber is going to be moving along the border cards. Once they reach the corner card, they're going to raid you. They're going to rob you. You can have the option of either giving up a good, or if you can't give up a good or decide not to, you're then going to have to lose a victory point. So always make sure you're keeping an eye on that robber in case they raid you in the future. Once they take your goods or whatever, they just move along to the next point. Another rule is that there's a certain limitation of the amount of goods that you can have at the end of your turn. You can't have more than 10 goods, so if you have any more, you would have to get rid of whichever ones you want. If you also have more than 3 gold, then you have to get rid of it. So it doesn't allow you to hoard the goods or hoard the gold as well. You have to make use of them in order to score points. So let me go over some of the tribe cards a little bit more. But there are 5 different tribes, and also to obtain the tribes you have to pay the upper right hand corner that amount. So you can pay some goods or you can pay gold as well. On some of these cards you can pay either or. It'll work just fine. Also on the bottom of the cards you'll notice that you'll obtain certain victory points. Some of them will give you more than others, but sometimes they'll give you a certain action. So for example, after paying for a raid, you receive a victory point for this card if you have this one. So some of them will give you actual benefits too. Some of them will also give you end of game scoring. So let's go over these cards just a little bit more as well. So when you're starting to collect these tribe cards, you're going to have to arrange them in a row of 4 and a column of 3. So it'll be a 4 by 3 grid. When you're getting these tribe cards, you're going to have to place them down, and once they're placed, you can't move them at all. So it's also very important that you arrange them in a certain manner where they're all the same, or each one in the row is different from one another. Because you'll score bonus points at the end of the game. So if you have a full row of the same type of tribe, you're going to get 4 additional points just at the end of the game. If you have arranged 4 different tribes in a row, you'll get 2 bonus points at the end of the game. If you have a row that's not finished or doesn't have 4 cards, you get no bonus points. So the game can end in 2 different ways. If a player obtains 12 different tribe cards, then the game will be over that round. If the robber card reaches the last wraith, card number 16, it's going to take away either gold or we're going to lose some victory points. And at the end of that turn or that round, that means the game is over, even if you haven't accomplished all of your tribe cards. Once the game is done, then we add up our final points. We're going to add up points based on our tribe cards. Some of these cards come with victory points on them, right below on the bottom right. You'll also be obtaining different victory points throughout the game, unless the robber's stealing them from you. So you also add up those points too. Some of the tribe cards at the end of the game will give you also extra benefits. For example, at the end of the game, if this card's on the rightmost space of the complete row, score an additional 2 points. So if this card was right here, then it would have added another 2 points to the game, but it didn't. Also, if you have a row of 4 identical tribes, you get 4 additional points, and also a row of different tribes, you get 2 bonus points. You add up all the points together, and whoever has the most wins. Now that I showed you how to play the game, let me go over a couple of my thoughts. So the first thing I'll talk about is the artwork and components of the game. Now the artwork and the components are pretty fair. I mean, they're just basic wooden pieces along with cardboard chits and cards. So it's very basic, nothing to write home about really. But one thing that I really do like about the components of the cards is that on the border, it actually has all the information of what you need. So you don't really need to go back into the rulebook and figure out what you're supposed to do if you pick that border card. Once you know the game, then you could just flip it over and then you could just see what the icon means. So I really like that about the game. Another thing I wanted to mention is that once you do sleeve the cards, the insert is really, it doesn't really work for the game. So that's why I had to make my own insert for the game. That's a little quarrel that I have with the insert, but the game itself is good. Let me talk to you about the strategy of Targi and the game mechanic that I really enjoyed in this game. It's basically the point of intersection along the border or along the cards displayed. What I really like about this game, which I haven't seen in any other game, is the fact that you place your worker on the borders, so wherever those 2 points intersect, you're also going to obtain that one either resource or tribe. So I really enjoy that aspect because whenever you're picking, say, a row or a column, you're actually blocking that from your opponent. So you can't necessarily place it exactly where you want, but you can foresee and kind of assume where your opponent is going and kind of block them. So you have to pick and choose when to block them and when to take what you really want. And that's what I really like about this game, because there's a lot of give and take in this game. You're only playing it with one other person, so there's a lot of heavy strategy between the 2 players, and I really enjoyed that part. I also wanted to go over the learning curve and the difficulty of this game. The first thing I wanted to mention too is that the rulebook itself is very clear and concise. There are a lot of examples of how to set up, how to play the game, and there's a lot of pictures to kind of help guide you. So I found that this rulebook is one of the better ones that I've seen, and it really explains the game very good for any new player. That being said, if you are an inexperienced player, and if you're playing against someone that's inexperienced, there is a high learning curve. More than likely the experienced player is going to win. Because there's just generally too much to think about and to understand with your first playthrough. It's not a very difficult game because you are just setting your pieces on the borders and then you're getting whatever's intersecting between them. So that concept is clear, but what to get, when to get it is a little bit more strategic, and it's something that you learn throughout the gameplay. So the replayability or the replay value is another thing I wanted to cover. So even though the border cards aren't changing in this game, the central cards or the center cards are always changing from game to game. They change when you set up the game, they change when you're playing it too. So people are taking tribe cards, they're taking good cards throughout the whole game. From round to round, whatever is available is always changing. So from one game to another, or even one round to another, the game is always different and changing. So it has a really high replay value, which is always good for a two-player game. Another thing that I wanted to cover too is the game tension. How much tension is there between players? Now this is a two-player only game, and there's also a lot of back and forth between players in this game. So the first player always has the options of placing their single Targi figure anywhere on the board, except of course on the corners and where the robber's located. So they have all available options. Now when they place that first Targi figure, they're going to go ahead and wipe out a whole row or a whole column for the other player to pick. Now that's going to limit the other player's options of where they can go. And so they would then place their piece, and then it would limit your options as well. So this goes back and forth between players, and you're kind of unsure of where you're going to place your piece or where your opponent is going to place their piece, which is even more tense in this game. I really like that intensity. I really like that act of not knowing what your opponent is going to do. And it just really makes it a high tension game where it creates a lot of fun and a lot of take that in a way with this game. So I talked a little bit about the game tension between players, but I also wanted to mention the interaction of this robber. Now this robber is going to go ahead and act as a trigger for the game end because it's basically a time token. It's traveling all across the border. And once it reaches the last card, the 16 card, that's a trigger of the game ending. So you see when the game is going to end. You're making sure you have to gather enough victory points to beat your opponent by that point. Another thing too that the robber does is, of course, he robs. He steals from you and your opponent. So every time he reaches a corner on that border, he's going to rob you either 1, 2, or even 3, or even a gold piece, different resources. So you have to make sure that you're saving up for that event, for that moment when the robber is going to take away some of your things. So you always have to prepare yourself for the point in time. Another thing that the robber does too, and it interacts with the border, interacts with both players, is that every time it's placed on a certain border card, it's taking away that possibility of you placing your own figure there. So you see where it's going to go the next turn. You can prepare yourself to maybe take that before the robber is there. Or you see that it's going to block it from your opponent. So the robber acts as like 3 different things. It acts as a timer, it acts as a thief, it's going to rob you, and it also acts as something that's blocking both opponents. There's a lot of interaction with that robber, and I really enjoy that part of the game. It's not just straightforward between 2 players, but it also has something that both players are interacting with as well. So in conclusion, I just want to say that if you have a partner or someone that you play a lot of 2-player games with and you enjoy high strategy, I highly suggest that you try Targi. You should definitely check out this game. It offers a lot. It's very unique in the way that it uses worker placement. It's so variable that every game is different. You can play this game, it says on the box, an hour, 60 minutes. However, the more you play it, the faster you get. You can play this game within 45 minutes. So it's a quick little 2-player game. Also, it should be back in stock now too. So it hasn't been in print for a while. So now it's back. So that's a good thing. And also I wanted to mention that the expansion for Targi is coming out too. The only problem is that for us English speakers is that it's coming out in German. So it won't be available for I don't know how long, but I'm really looking forward to the expansion and see what kind of other things that it brings into this already great game. So yeah, thanks a lot for watching too. You could find me on Twitter, on Instagram, on Facebook, as well as Meeples included, and also the Insta Gamers Network. So all the information will be at the end of the video and in the description. If you like this video, just give it a thumbs up. And also, if you want to subscribe, just go ahead and do so. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!